What's going on, y'all? How's everybody doing today? You know what I'm saying? I just want to say, hold on. How's everybody doing today? Now I gotta have my little backup plan. I gotta make sure things is working right. You know what I'm saying? But I want to say, you know what I'm saying? How's everybody today? You know what I mean? Welcome to the Lethal Truth, where I always speak the truth, and the truth shall set you free mentally. Um, Last segment was a pretty good segment. I want to say thank you for logging in. I didn't even know I had 59 views while I was on. For some reason it doesn't really pop up here to show me how many people is on. So sometimes when I'm over, I can see it. And sometimes it just goes up after that. So last segment was pretty good. You know what I mean? It's getting up there to over 100 views. You know, so I would like to. Oh, hold on. And I'm trying to get this thing here together. You know, hold on. So, like I said, give people, a round of applause. You know what I'm saying, for attending, getting this paperwork over here together. Today I want to talk about Fat Joe. I see the FBA is going hard on him. Like, yo, man, they not letting up on him, and it's crazy because I didn't really know who the hell the FBA was. I never heard of them. You know what I'm saying? Until Fat Joe made his statement, and it was interesting because when he was on a Math Hoffa, my opinion, uh, talk show or podcast, however you want to say, man, say talk show. Um, they asked him who he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? He was saying these radical people, they always, they just want to be around each other. They exclude everybody. You know what I'm saying? And Math was like, well, who you talking about? And he was like, I don't know if I want to say their name. I think he knew he was going to be in a ball of fire if he would said something. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know who they was. So they was like, nah, say their name. He was like, the FBA, these broke niggas. So I'm saying, man, nah, I'm saying I have to laugh because he said I didn't want to give them no ammunition. I didn't want them to get recognized. I didn't want to put their name out there because he knew nobody really knew who FBA was. So FBA stands for Foundational Black America. Um, and I like to give a round of applause for that. You know what I'm saying? Give a round of applause for that. Reason I give a round of applause for that because I had to study what it was about. I didn't know what FBA was about. And come to find out, they started in 2017. It's ran by this brother named Tashid Nas. It's something like that. Or Nasheed Tariq. I think it's Tashid Nas. He goes by that with his attribute. I'm not gonna say his government name because obviously he changed that name for a reason. He don't want his former slave master name. Um, and what they do in this organization is they accumulate the lost history of black people in America and the diaspora, but mostly in America, those who lost the knowledge of what they did to contribute on building this country. So this is their platform. This is what they about. And I understand why I never heard of them because you're not going at the enemy. You know what I'm saying? You just putting something together. And don't get me wrong, I don't knock it. I don't knock nobody come in, especially my people, getting an organization to talk about the history that was lost to us and lost to y'all or them. So I applaud that. You know what I'm saying? So going into more of the research on on this controversy, because the first time I talked about it, I was talking about how Joe, I don't think Joe was racist. I still think he's not racist or prejudiced, because people of color can't be racist because it's only two colors, but it's multiple colors with one color, and that's black. So To be racist amongst prejudice amongst multiple colors will transform you into being a racist. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you just have white, you can't be you can't be racist. You know what I'm saying? You could just be prejudiced, and that's pretty much it. And I kind of listened to the guy. You know, I was on his page, was on YouTube. I was trying to get some form of understanding, like what's his mission. You know what I'm saying? Before I speak out, not against him, but speak on the topic, and it may offend some. You know what I'm saying? Because I can see what's going on now. It become a snowball effect with black people. Once they find out somebody is disrespecting them and they get a platform to assassinate the person. You know what I'm saying? Black people don't let up. They assassinate you as soon as something happens. You know what I'm saying? So I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. So Lord Jamal, he got involved in it. And I was trying to understand why. You know, because once I got into the FBA, I was like, where did he fit in with this? Because it says foundational Black Americans. I gotta ask you something. Are we Americans? No, for real. This is a real question. Do you feel American? Are you American? Because my next question is going to be, when did they make us American? Because when they started to colonize this country, which had another name that we don't know what it is, we was always here with the indigenous people, what we call Indians, which is our bloodline. They still part of the original man. They are still Black. That's what Indian mean. That's what Cherokee mean. You know what I'm saying? So we was always here. We always had a name for this country that represented us ourselves. Not our color, because we never called ourselves Black. White folks did that. We called ourselves after our nation or after our tribes. So you saw him, he was a Mandinka. You saw him, he was an Igbo. It wasn't no Black. You know what I'm saying? We never make up that shit. The person that made that up was white folks, because they didn't have a color to represent them, because they lack melanin. They have no color whatsoever. This is why when the sun touches them, they get tan or they peel. This is not racism. This is actual facts. So Lord Jamal, he comes from, I won't say an organization. That's disrespectful. He comes from a birthright called the Nation of Gods and Earths. Who was the father of that was Clarence 13 X. Smith, who broke off from the Nation of Islam and took the Nation of Islam's lessons, which is called Supreme Wisdom, and turned it into his own, and by calling it 120 degrees, which it has 120 questions and answers. Answers from Master Farad Muhammad, who revealed himself to Elijah Muhammad, and Elijah Muhammad answered those questions. Clarence 13X never answered those questions. Those are not his lessons. But he took it out of good faith, because the Nation of Islam had fell, and he brought it to his people, which fell into the ears and the heart of a person called Lord Jamal, who was in a group called Brand Nubian, who are all part of the Nation of Gods and Earths. As a matter of fact, all their albums, they're rapping the lessons, which you will never see today. They'll fuck around and assassinate you for that shit, because it's speaking some real truth, and it's speaking something that will shake the enemy up. I'm going to just say enemy. You know what I'm saying? So Lord Jamal believed, when Master Farad Muhammad answered this question, asked this question, he said, who is the original man? Original means the first person to do anything. There's no carbon copy, the first anything. Who is the original man? And Elijah said, the Asiatic Black man, the maker, the owner, the creator of planet Earth, God of the universe. In the nation of God's earth, they'll say Father and God of the universe. He added a word in there. Then they ask the second question, because the first question is the identity of who the fuck you is, who you are. Somebody told me that I shouldn't use profanity, but I know I got a young crowd here. You got to talk their language sometimes. Don't tell me how to do my job. You do your job. I'm saying, don't worry about how I do mine. So the second question is, well, who is the colored man? Colored mean ED, which means he went from an original form to a carbon copy. Who is the colored man? You thought it was black people. No, you ain't past color. You are the original color. The color is, he said the Caucasian white man. No, excuse me. So who is the colored man? The colored man is the devil. The Caucasian white man. Stop. That's a whole different section. I'm not going to get into that, because now you see why Malcolm kept saying the white man is the devil. We ain't going to get into that because it's going to take me somewhere else. But he said, or, see, now there's another different description. Or Yakub's grafted devil, which means here's a man that was making a mindset of people unlike themselves. Not white. He was making his own people devils, which you see in your community now. You see black people running around uncivilized savages. Those are devils. It's a wicked state of mind, satanic. This is why you go to church, most of you. So you should understand what I'm talking about. Now, Lord Jamar already know that he's not an American. He's an Asiatic black man, which is also called Semitic, which is Afro-Asiatic. Afro-Asiatic. That comes from Saudi Arabia, all Arab countries, and Africa that speaks these languages, the Semitic languages, Hebrew languages, Semitic. So black people cannot be anti-Semitic because you're the original Jews, but you don't know that because white folks stole our religion, well, one of our religions, and now start calling themselves Semitic people. But they ain't Semitic, it's from Europe. You understand? Now I'm not trying to get into that because I'm getting to somewhere, because we're talking about Lord Jamar, Fat Joe, and the FBA. So what all this have to do with it? Well, Lord Jamar, he should know he's not no black American because they never made us American. In 1776, they had a civil war. They was Britons. And they didn't want to be second-class citizens because they was the niggers of slavery in this country working for Europe. Working for England, the Queen. They didn't want to do that no more. They wanted to do their own thing. So they went to war, which is called a revolutionary war. This is where Independence Day come from, July 4th, which it happened way before July 4th in 1776. They've been winning the war and everything. Actually, no, they won the war around that time, but they called it Independence Day around about 50 years later. Then they started to celebrate it. Meanwhile, me and you, our ancestors was in slavery. They came and got some black people, we shall call them immigrants, and they brought them over here to be slaves for them because they couldn't create, and they were some lazy ass people. They didn't know how to build a world on their own. They needed us because we had a world of our own. So they went to Africa and got some immigrants because they learned from the Portuguese. Now, who are the Portuguese? The Portuguese is like the Spaniards, the Spanish, but they're not Spanish. They don't speak Spanish. They speak Portugal. And they started the transatlantic slave trade by snatching up people first from Nigeria. Well, they were Spanish and they really couldn't pronounce it, so they called it negra, which later on in the English language, it became nigger. Just like a lot of the English language derives from the Latin term or the Greek term, Europe. You understand what I'm saying? So when they couldn't pronounce them, they called them negra, they brought them to Nigeria, Brazil, Cuba, and Trinidad and Tobago, and right near there is Venezuela, where they speak Spanish, which is a European language, which is a European language, which is a European language. So when they snatch these Black Africans and they put them all in Cuba and Trinidad and Venezuela, they forced us to speak their language, like the English language. And as they, integrated with us and raped us, a lot of us, like in America, became light. So the lighter, the better. Because they was thinking more of what you call it the Willie Lynch law, but they was already revolutionizing this type of thought process. They had to remove everything from us: our name, our language, our history, our religion, and our God. You don't have that, you're a lost sheep in the woods in the world, because you can't identify with yourself. And then they gave them their culture, gave them their Spanish-speaking language. And as we kept getting raped, we kept getting lighter, and we kept looking like people like Fat Joe. So the lighter, the better. So people with his complexion they was being treated more, although they were still second-class citizens. Even in Brazil, they revolutionized. As a matter of fact, the Portuguese to this day still run Brazil from the transatlantic slave trade. Why the fuck the FBA ain't saying shit about that? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like if you're going to start talking about history and you're going to start talking about nationality and you're going to start talking about who we are, then start talking about who we are. See if you don't end up like Malcolm. See, a lot of them like to play the safe haven and they don't really tell you the truth. They just tell you a little bit of facts because that's what FBA is about. They just want to tell you about Black Americans. In other words, what they're doing is they're gathering up all history and information for former slaves. Not your identity, just history. See the difference? All right. So, of course, as time went on, the Europeans stumbled on this country. So while we were still being shipped into South America and everything like that, we was also being shipped over here, but they will make a pit stop. Through all those places I just named, they will make a pit stop and drop us off either in Haiti or in North America, in Canada and over here. So now these sort of people in Africa in different places, because Africa has 52 countries on that continent, they forced us to speak English because they're from England, while the Spaniards and the Portugal taught our people to speak Spanish. You see where I'm going with this? So we will always living amongst each other. We were always speaking somewhat, I won't say the same language, but somewhat the same language through our culture. Like I mentioned in my last video, I said that a lot of Latinos or Hispanics, as you want to call them, a lot of their grandparents practiced Santa Maria. A lot of them. They played the drums. Where they get that from? Their ancestors. Shango, that statue that they idolize or pray to or worship, is a Black statue. And they will tell you themselves, Shango is Black. But see, the FBA, they don't want to tell you this because they're having a field day because nobody really knew about them until this happened. I mean, don't get me wrong, some people knew about them, but not a lot of people knew about them until Fat Joe said something. And this is why he called them radical, because I'm now starting to understand why he called them that. He called them radical because everything they dealing with is just dealing with darker complexion people, and that's wrong. See, the Nation of Gods and Earth, and even the Nation of Islam, especially the Nation of Gods and Earth, and Lord Jamar knows this better than anybody. They have something called knowledge seed, wisdom seed, and understanding seed. Knowledge seed, knowledge is first, it's the darker. The wisdom seed is the brown skinned people. The understanding seed is the lighter complexion people, no matter where you are, as long as you original man. That's Fat Joe. There are a lot of Spanish speaking people that's in the nation of gods and earths. There's a lot of Spanish speaking people with his complexion that's in the nation of gods, in the nation of Islam, that says the black man is God. So what the FBA talking about? What Lord Jamar is talking about? That's why Sadat X his group mate, he said, yo, man, don't ask me about none of that shit. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Is all bullshit. You see now you hear what I'm saying. You see, it's just all about politics, man. Should Fat Joe should have said that? My question is, why not? He been saying it through his whole rap career. He ain't just say it in front of Math Hoffa and his peers. He was with digging in the crates. He was with digging in the crates, and he was rapping with all those black brothers, and he was saying nigga, blow a nigga head off and all that. Why nobody said nothing then? Huh? It seems like when a person get a statue that comes from our family, they always try to find ways to keep us separated. You know what I'm saying? When Cardi B came out and she was on Love and Hip Hop and she was saying, nigga, what, nigga, this, and she was beefing with all the chicks and calling them, you fucking black bitch. Nobody said nothing. Nobody said cancel her from the show. Nobody said, yo, we boycotting the show. FBA ain't say shit. But all of a sudden, now they got something to say. Now they got something to say. Because it's getting their name out there now. They're being recognized now. You see what I'm saying? But my thing is, when have you ever been American? No, seriously. I have to ask that. Okay, we know they said slavery ended in 1619 in America. No, excuse me. It started 1619 in America. They said by the Portuguese and the Spanish, it started like 15 or the 1400s, right? Okay. But in America, it really started in 1555 because this was the way they had to make a nigga. And what's a nigga? All right, my niggas, let me holler at you. Tell you what a nigga is. See, like I said, a nigga is someone that they strip the name of. So they give me a name like Brian Morgan. Morgan don't come from Africa, but that's my slave master name. So it attaches me to him as ownership. This is why years ago when we was growing up and we wanted to change our names because Malcolm and this civil rights movement, everybody not the civil rights, excuse me. Not them. They love their slave master names. But when Malcolm and a lot of brothers from the nation of gods of earth was encouraging us to change our names, the enemy decided to set up a system where is when you fill out a job application, this is what they said. If we can't pronounce your name, they'll throw it away. No, that's not what it was. If they recognized your name that wasn't attached to their name as their former slave, that it means you're woke and you're conscious and you're resurrected and you're a threat and we don't need you talking in our workplace because you'll open the eyes of my niggas so you can't get hired. But as long as you say you Black American, you're okay. As long as you say you African American, you're okay. You understand? So they take our last name, they take our God, because at one point in time we came over as Muslims. Some of us came over as Muslims and Israelites. and fractions of different tribes. You know what I'm saying? So we had our original names, we had our God, we had our original religion, and our religion makes us rebellious because the Quran always tells you fight with those who fight with you, no matter what. And the Torah tells you the same thing. They can't do that. So they had to strip us and give us a book and say, you can't read it, but Jesus said, turn the other cheek, and you ran with it. We ran with it, and we believed it. See, these are the niggas. And then when you decided to start to get light and bright and damn near white, and we started to go into the slave quarters, we started to get treated better. See, this is the system that started. We started to get treated better. So now we getting better food. We don't get whippings. We slept in a better house. So the lighter, the better, the whiter, the greater. So we definitely wanted to be light skinned. We definitely would be damn near white. And this set up a system where even if we was light, we wouldn't marry into our own families because they were too dark. So we would get someone that was light from another family, or we would try to get someone in this day and time white, and our children will come out like the brat in Judy, which they said. They said, oh, all the black men is ugly. Since when God made something ugly that's black? We're the original people. How are we ugly? This keep it real. You just wanted a baby from your former slave master. That's all. You ain't had to water it down saying everybody was ugly. Because I know two ugly people that can make a pretty baby. But that was just the bullshit excuse she wanted. But see, this is the mindset that we have. So now, in the 70s, you know, I'm gonna start right there. Because they said this whole argument between Fat Joe and Lord Jamar started because Fat Joe kept hearing that hip hop started by black people, right? Hip hop started by black people. And he didn't like that. He felt that hip hop started by Puerto Ricans. So now here it is, two people who aren't really Puerto Rican and who aren't really American arguing about who started what first, and then want to say somebody is racist because they use the word nigger. So I'm trying to figure out, are you upset that Fat Joe put you on blast as saying you don't have the knowledge of self, you don't know who you are, you don't know who your God is, you don't have your name? Are you mad at that? Or are you mad because the poor whites of America took that title from slavery and transformed it into a derogatory statement? So are you mad because of the definition of the name or the derogatory statement of the foundation of the name that's now in America? Because it means two different things, but it could also mean all in one. You see what I'm saying? Because Puerto Rico ain't Puerto Rico. They colonized that. Africa is not even Africa. They colonized that. That was the land of the Kemets. They was Kemetic people. Egypt was taught by the Greeks. Egypt was taught by the Kemets, who allowed the Greeks to come over and study, so they had their own land in the lower Egypt and upper Egypt. That wasn't our motherfucking hood. We was Kemetic people. We was in the Kemets. We was running the schools. But, Lord Jamar know what you don't know. And he just letting it run. He like, nah, they gonna get Fat Joe, trash his ass. Because y'all don't know what he know. He don't care about no N-word. He don't care about no black, because he don't even consider himself that. He consider himself an Asiatic black man. That's a whole different look, man. Yo, I was listening to the guy, and he's more a Nash. What's his name? Nasheed. I'll just say Nasheed. FBA. Let's put it like that. FBA. They like I said, they are more in tune with making everything black, darker. That's ours, and that's not true, because we got black Puerto Ricans, we got black Dominicans of this type of color. Even people like Fat Joe is considered black in my book. You ever seen the show Sisters or Zactima? And you remember the guy that was messing with Danny, and he was a white cowboy? All this time I thought this dude was white until I saw him on social media, and he has a black father that looks exactly like him, but a shade darker. And this dude is black, but he looks like a white boy. And on the show, he talking country. I swear to God, you'll think he's white. He could pass for it. He could pass for it. In fact, Joe grew up around black people. His career started with black people. He moved in a community. Don't get me wrong. It'd probably be a community with Spanish-speaking people from those South American countries or Spanish-speaking countries. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of them that do act racist. Prejudice, I should say. They do. Because you have a lot of them that come over here that feel like they're better than you. And they feel like what they're not telling you, they feel like they're better than the Puerto Ricans over here. The Puerto Ricans that come over here feel like they're better Puerto Ricans than everybody else. Because they feel like, yo, we light. You don't have to be with these monkeys. Yet, they drums is from Africa. The music they play is from Africa. It has an African culture, because although you could destroy us mentally, you can't destroy God's mind. So we start doing things in our nature. Just like with hip hop and graffiti writing. FBA was trying to say that, Crazy Legs didn't start at the windmill, and was doing that through jazz. And I saw the clippings of the brothers. They was doing some stuff that I seen in breakdancing. I'm not gonna lie. But is that breakdancing? No. Don't be trying to twist. Oh, really? It's really breakdancing because what they did back then, it was like rhyming. No. That's not hip hop. That's not hip hop. You are singing a song. They're not even calling it rapping. But you want to call it that. No. I'm sorry, Mr. FBA. It don't pump like that. You know what I'm saying? You want to be technical about that? You could say in Chicago, they was popping and locking. Now came before the actual break dancing. And the popping and locking, what I'm talking about is what you see on, remember that show, What's Happening? Remember Rerun? He used to do all that stuff. That's popping and locking. I'm not saying that he created it, but I knew Rerun was in a group in Chicago that had a Spanish brother in it that was popping and locking. I know that every time I saw a movie that dealt with breakdancing or some form of graffiti, Spanish people was there. Whether they didn't hit the first spray can, or why the fuck are you concerned about who started what first when they really are technically the original people themselves? They'll tell you they look just like the Taino Indians. You ever seen a picture of Sitting Bull? Red Cloud? Take a look. You ever seen the movie Apocalypto? They look like they're from Puerto Rico. Because a lot of them also in these other countries all over the world had Indians that looked just like us or even lighter, as you can see on TV, and got raped by the white Spaniards and had babies, and they had that touch of hair, and they was considered Spanish. Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and Venezuelans and all this other stuff. They just kept their heritage, and the enemy noticed. That's just why the enemy keeps them in our community next, right to us. And they always keep us divided. Keep them over here, and you keep the Spanish people over there, and you always make them think they're different. No, you give them a month. You get, what is it? Latino History Month, and you got Black History Month. But we make sure we're going to give both of those niggas around 30 days. They don't get no more. You see how they treat us the same? It's because we are the same. We lived the same place. They raped us in the same way. They stripped us for our same God. Everything is the same. You don't see that? FBA, they playing games. They trying to make it political because he's trying to get his name out there. Don't get me wrong, his name was a little bit out there, but not as much. For some of y'all out there don't know who I'm talking about, he's the same brother who did the documentary on Hidden Colors 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, now you see who I'm talking about. All right, he's the guy. If that's FBA, they made Hidden Colors. You know what I'm saying? They reveal the truth. Don't get me wrong, I don't got nothing against what they're doing, but this right here, I have to disagree. I have to disagree. And if you want to really be technical, if you want to really, go at Joe or anybody like that, why don't you start with the music industry first? Because they allowed us to popularize that. They the ones that control that. They the ones tell you what to say and what to do. They the ones that tell you, we're going to drop you from this label if you don't start rapping the way I want you to rap. What you mean? I want you to say, kill nigga, bitch, fuck hoe. Don't listen to Oprah. And, and we do it. We get on wax. We talk about killing each other, murdering each other, nigga, every goddamn bar. And then he'll go and Fat Joe say it's a problem. When he been was saying it. Pun, been was saying it. So why is this so new? Why? Because they putting the spin, because it's going viral. It's giving people something to talk about. Everybody talking about this shit on social media. The only ones I'm not really hearing is the people with knowledge of self, like myself. See, you can't blow our way with that bullshit. Because we'll break that shit down because we know who we are. Talking about some Black American. That shit started in the 1600s. You ancient people. You claiming some new ass name. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm walking around with the righteous name, Abdul Akbar, and I'm this and I'm that. I'm high behind enemy lines. I would go in there with my ID and I'll tell them, yeah, I'm Brian Morgan. Yeah, I'm American. Sure, African American. Yes, I was born 2 places at the same time. Yes, master. And then by the law, yo, black man, peace, God. Let me talk to you. And I'll wake you up. I'll be one way with my people, but when I'm over there, I'll be undercover. Not saying I'm a scratch and itch while I don't itch, because I'm not doing that. But I know who I am. I could talk to racist white people and have an intelligent conversation, but I know who you are and you know who I am. As they said, as they asked Cat Williams, why do people focus so much on black people? It's because they know who we are. But some of you don't know who you are. So when shit like this with Fat Joe pops up, you run with it because you actually think that Fat Joe's in the wrong. You actually think Cardi B is in the wrong. And we all know Cardi B grew up in the hood. Like, we saw the videos and pictures with her messed up teeth. You can't tell me she racist over something she said the N-word. And meanwhile, she's getting sex by a black man. She's doing oral, receiving it from a black man. And you telling me she racist. Yo, she said nigga. They got to ban her. Shut up. No, really. I have to say, really, shut the fuck up. Don't want to hear that shit. Because all you trying to do is trying to have people go against each other. And I really believe it's the enemy. You know what I'm saying? I really believe it's the enemy that's putting a spin on this to keep us separated. Because they control the keyboards behind the scene. We put these videos up and we think it really goes viral. Yeah, sometimes it do. But they control the platform. And this is why they don't want TikTok. This is why they banned Telegram. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to be able to monetize and focus and keep a close eye on social media and what is being said and by whom. They want control of it. So if you putting videos out like that to resurrect people and make them awake, most times your shit might not go nowhere. You ain't doing that. Maybe you are. Maybe you're not. But they control it. You see they banned Farrakhan on YouTube, right? They banned Brother Ben X uh, on YouTube. And that brother like 20 some years old, but he was speaking the truth. So they banned them because they were getting too many views. When you start getting like 2.5K views and all that, and 235K views, you getting too much people, you waking in too much people, you getting the masses up, you gotta go. So as long as everybody's still talking about Fat Joe need to apologize and Fat Joe's canceled out of hip hop, who said Fat Joe canceled out of hip hop? Who? Because the FBA, you and me, we don't own hip hop. Black people stopped owning hip hop the day they started signing us to record labels. It was over. You know, they saw us in the hood. You know, some people say Kool Herc started it. It's different opinions on that. But I know that he was a part of it. You know, I know a lot of Latinos that was speaking Spanish. They was a part of it. It don't matter who did the first scratch. They are all the original people, period. When Black Spade started back in the 60s, and they used to wear the vests, and they used to have their names on the back. In the Bronx and in Brooklyn, there was a lot of gangs back then that used to be vest up. Today, they revolutionized it. Well, not today, they revolutionized it. It was really like a motorcycle thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just that the street gangs took that style of representing who they were or are, and they put those vests on, they put their names on the back, and that's how they walked around as gangs. And this mentality, this era, this atmosphere generated generated and had people make up the movie called The Warriors. Remember that, right? How many people you saw in there? And that movie was made in the 70s. How many Spanish people you saw in that movie? I see. Hip hop was just starting. They was in the movies though. I see. They had something called the Zulu Nation, right? That was, I heard, started by African Bambaataa. Maybe I'm wrong, or he started with a few people. And I knew he was the warlord of that. And he had a lot of different chapters in that nation. And back then, that was the biggest, I won't say gang, because he didn't want to pretty much put that term on it, but it was an organization that was there to design and build the community up. So they had like different nations that was a part of that. You know what I'm saying? You had Savage Skulls, which was Spanish people. You had what's that? Homicide Incorporated, that had many different chapters of homicide, and that was mixed. It was Black and Spanish. This is all in the 60s and 70s. You know what I'm saying? So we always lived around each other. We always integrated with each other. We always had sex with each other. Even during the civil rights movement, you saw them there. But some people so caught up on who did what first based on skin complexion. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I know the history. The people with the darker complexion, I'm not going to lie. I see it in the books. We created everything. We created everything. Okay, cool. But I have a question. What the fuck you doing with it now? You created everything. You created music. Do you own it? We own the whole planet. Do you own it? Who own it now? So sometimes you gotta watch what you say about Black people made this and Black people made that, and we should get reparations, because that's what the FBA they want. They want reparations. And he said all Black people deserve that because we've been through some shit more than the Jews. The Jews got reparations because they put Hitler in power. France, Britain, and America. They put Hitler in power. They had their own agenda, but Hitler flipped on them. You know what I'm saying? And then he went to kill all the Jews, because the Jews have a history. Prior to that time, every country they went to, they did the same thing as you see today. And he knew they were a problem. And he knew we had to get rid of them. And this is why he was putting them through gas chambers. So after that, they cried and screamed, we need reparations. I'm not saying it's a joke. But they got it because they're white. They're not black. That's not their original religion. They're not saying that a white person can't be a Hebrew or a Jew, because you got some blacks that's turned from Hebrews to Jews or whatever. You understand? So I dig that part. I dig that part. But we don't own anything. I think the FBA, oh, speaking of that, reparations, hold on. He want every black person to get reparations. Let me ask a question. If they gave us reparations today, right? They gave us reparations today. What would we do with it? No, seriously. Right now, they say, you know what? We giving every black American $10 million. What would you do with it? Exactly. You would go, yo, we gotta go, gonna get me a store. You know I'm gonna get the bus, son. We're gonna get fly, we're gonna get the mansion, we're gonna get the cars, we're gonna come through. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to buy this and you're gonna try to buy what? Because if they all gave us 10 million today, they will all get half of it back by the end of the week. Because the first thing we gonna do is buy stuff up. The first thing you should be screaming about is land. Because without land, there's no production. Without land, you can't put no building there, you can't put no shops there, you can't put no schools there, you can't do nothing. You leave it to somebody else, and then you want to buy something and put your shit there for them to say you gotta move. I own the land. Now you ain't, what happened to reparations? And they can't give you no money. They can't give you no money. Let me see if I can pull something up for you. Hold on. They can't give you no money because America ain't got no money. They broke, man. They broke. Let me show you something. Let me pull it up for you. Because I want you to hear what America owes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they don't know. They think, hey, this is the greatest country in the world, and we ain't got nothing to worry about. Oh, yes, you do. This country is falling, buddy. Okay, I don't see it here. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Y'all all right out there? I don't know how many people is on. Can I get a test drive? How many people is on? Because I really can't see. But I wanted to show you what America owes. And I know you probably saying, yo, Slug, yo, like, nah, don't worry about it. Just keep talking. Nah, I have to show you this. I really have to show you this because it's very important. You know what I mean? To get this information. I want you to get this information because you need to know what this country's in debt. I don't know if I could get, here we go. Okay, it's working. Okay. Let's see if it'll come up. For some reason, this tab been acting up. Like, oh man, brother. All right. For some reason, it ain't popping up. I don't know. Before I used to get it up, but for some reason, this is not popping up. All right. But look, this country's so in debt. This country's so in debt that they owe everybody. China, Japan, Philippines, Trinidad, Venezuela. You name a country, that country they in debt to, especially China and Japan. And what happens is after that, you know, when you can't pay the debt, you start selling off your assets. So all the federal buildings are sold, the bridges are sold, the toll booths are sold. That's why prices keep going up because it's owned by independent people. You don't believe me? Check out your clothes. Go in your closet. Where is it made? Is it made in America? No. This is an investment country. They don't have no reparations for you. This dude talking about, yeah, man, I'm trying to get black people to get reparations. You ain't getting no reparations. They ain't got nothing to give. They can't even take care of their own people. Their own people dying and killing themselves and getting crazy. And you over here talking about you trying to get some reparations. That ain't gonna happen. What black people gotta do is build on their own. We make $1 trillion a year. $1 trillion a year, and we spend it in a year, in less than a year. Check that out. We make more money and spend more money than anybody in this country. And yeah, you talking about you want reparations. You hear this FBA dude? We should get it. We did. Stop begging. Stop begging your slave master for a hand. You can do it your damn self. Ain't the Chinese did it? You hear the Chinese begging every European for anything? You ain't got to beg. You got the money. You got the access. How many billionaires is in America? So you put all those billionaires together, how many trillionaires you have? So what the fuck you begging about? You got it. You got the money already. You been had it. You been had the shows, all you got to do is unify, but you can't do that. That's what he should be focused. That's what FBA to me should be focused on. Not Fat Joe. FBA should be focusing on trying to stop encouraging black on black violence in the music. They should be encouraging black people to stop saying nigga, but when they get mad when somebody else say it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Because if a person, a white person say that to me in my face, I'll go in their mouth. Call it what you want. You just ain't the same. You just not the same. And some white people do say it because they grew up around black people, and some black people will give them that pass. And even white people call themselves wiggers. They dress like us, dance like us, rap like us, talk like us. Not saying that they rather be black than white. No, they want to be white, but that's who they are because that's who they grew up around. Just like you got some black people who grew up around nothing but white people. They get adopted and they go live in Beverly Hills somewhere or something that is equivalent to Beverly Hills, and they grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth and they get a whole different education, a whole different culture. And when you're around a circle of people, you start to talk like those people. So now here it is, Bobby McKinney done came to Brooklyn and he don't sound like you, and you say, oh, he sound like a white boy. Now look who's sounding racist or prejudiced. yo, I think black people and people of color, man, is one of the most prejudiced people in this country. No, I'm serious. And it's sad because we are the only people that don't want to really be ourselves. But now we don't. When you ask a black person, yo, you all black, they always got to tell you some bullshit about how they was mixed. Yo, my grandmother, she Indian. I ain't ask you all that, man. I ask you, what are you? If you have the knowledge to know who you are, who are you? I want you, this is my question to y'all out there. Really, who are you? If you think what I'm saying is wrong, my question to you, you can put it in the chats. Who are you? America started as the name America in the 1700s. You've been here on this planet longer than then. So you're not American. So who are you? Who are you? Or you are a bunch of new ass people. And to be honest, we are. We are a bunch of new ass black people. We are. Because we just started to have some sort of existence in the late 70s. If you want to say, well, you could say the 50s or 60s, when you want to have a name that you want to control or think you control. And I know you said, nah, we've been here waiting before that because we was in slavery. Yeah, but you weren't a citizen. When they wrote the Constitution, they said land of the free and home, but you wasn't free. So The Constitution that's made for America, that represents a people who represents themselves with a flag that has 13 stars that represent 13 colonies and 13 stripes for red and white, that does not represent you. That's not your flag. Was you here to die for it? No. That's for your enemy who had you in slavery. And when slavery was over, Abraham Lincoln, he was trying to get us up out of there. He was like, yo, y'all go back. Because he knew, yo, after what we did, it's just a matter of time they get their get backs. But that's his mouth. Ain't us. We ain't going to think about no get back because we some dancing, happy, peaceful people. Look at all the wrong that's done to us. We still want to be friends with our former slave masters. We still hold on to their name. We still want to marry into their family. We still want to be in their religion. We still want to practice their culture, Christmas, Thanksgiving. All that is Caucasian culture. We still want to adapt to that instead of making our own. You don't like when I talk like this. You don't like when I talk like this, but people go at Fat Joe. And I'm not defending Fat Joe. I'm not defending him. And I'm not criticizing him. Because they always say, man, you want to tell people to clean up their own backyard, you got to clean up your own first. So if you want that type of respect, then you got to earn the respect and you got to stop saying nigga yourself. You got to stop saying it. Some of y'all saying don't even know what it means. So before you check anybody, you got to check yourself. In fact, Joe, I have to, and a lot of Spanish people, I have to address you. A lot of y'all are racist. Prejudiced. You don't think you're black. You don't think you're original man. You just think you're an Indian. I'm a Taino Indian or Aztec. That's what I am. I'm not black. Well, what the fuck color is that? Come on, talk to me. What color is that? Are you from Europe? No, you're not from Europe. So you tell me what's going on. Maybe if y'all start accepting who you are and who you want to be, it wouldn't be like that. But see, our former slave masters got us so confused. Don't worry about it. Black people is going through it too. Black people is going through it too. Yo, here come all these coconuts coming over here. Why you calling them a coconut? They black like you. They black like you. I remember growing up, you couldn't even call them nigga. That was fighting words because they're more cultural in the Caribbeans. See, it's more different. It's more different with people in the Caribbeans because they have a sense and a strong connection to their culture. See, and when we went to the Caribbeans, they didn't separate us in our family. They kept us together. So we kept our traditions and stuff like that as one. When they sold one person, they sold a whole family. So we stayed together. That's why most West Indians, they always have a big family, always coming over with the whole family. But with us over here, they stripped us because they didn't want us to have no unity. And this is why today we can't even get along. So we think Jamaicans are different from Americans and Americans is different from Trinidadians and Trinidadians are different from Bajans and Bajans are different from Guyanese. You all the same people. It's just that when they snatch us up, your ship went over there, my ship went over there, her ship went over there, and that ship went that way. And we all been broken the same way to speak different languages and they get different cultures. Now we in a pot called America where there's multiracial people. We all acting like we different. You ain't different. You're the same. Only ones that's different is us and white folks. Nothing against you, white people. You know what I'm saying? I got love for white people. Not all of y'all, not all white people are racist. The system made them racist. Or how would I say? Yeah, the system make them racist through their education. I have videos on that where, man, you won't believe it. Yeah, they train them to be racist without even knowing they're racist. You ever seen that movie, the what? The Hate I Give Little Infants, that movie. And she was going to school with all her white friends and everything. And they didn't show racism. And she was black. But as soon as a white officer killed the black kid, you saw it come out. And they didn't even know it. And they started acting different towards her when she started pointing it out. You see what I'm saying? So to say Fat Joe is racist. Nah. Now they want to cancel the brother out of hip hop. Never mind his band. He was in a group that was all black, and he was the only Puerto Rican. Never mind that instead of becoming family or godfather to a Spanish-speaking baby, he became a godfather to a dark-skinned or brown-skinned black baby. He sent on Mad Papa. He said, "Yo, man, I hope nothing happened to them because, when I took that responsibility, I had to think because it's like raising my son. Because if anything happened to me, I got to raise that child." That sounds like a racist person to you? Nah. Like I said, it's all about politics. So the FBA is going to run with it so they can get recognized. So now they're making a whole bunch of Fat Joe videos. Other black people making Fat Joe videos and saying he need to apologize and all of that. And why don't you tell those record labels to apologize about all the black men and black women they financially raped? Why don't you say something about that? Don't go at the powerless, go at the powerful. Speak to the powers that be. Malcolm did it, Martin did it. Ain't that what you representing, a lot of y'all? Because a lot of y'all said I found myself in the foundational Black America. Nah, I don't find myself in that because I'm an ancient people. When my people came and my birth record, we have no beginning, no ending. Although there is a beginning, we just don't know because we're ancient people. Now, if you want to call yourself some shit that started yesterday, hey, by means, New Jack, go ahead. Call yourself that. But when you go around the world and you start saying that you Black American, people that's conscious know who you are. There go the niggas. There go the niggas. The niggas are coming. You know why they call you that? Because you call you that. So they don't really, well, maybe now, but years ago when it was more cultural, they really didn't say that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to make this video because I was going to make a whole different video, but I kept seeing this thing and I kept doing the knowledge of it and I kept seeing where it was going. One thing about the media, when you say something wrong or you do something wrong and you're a celebrity, they spin that shit out of control. They spin it out of control because you got a lot of people that says that shit, like with Eminem. We know Eminem ain't racist, but he grew up around black people where they gave him the pass to say, yo, y'all niggas be bugging. He ain't gonna say it out in the open because he know consciously among other black people, that's fighting words. But around his people who love him, he be like, yo, y'all niggas is bugging. Proof and all of. He probably ain't say it to 50, of course. Or he probably did, but 50 know he not racist. Dre know he not racist. But they found the tape of him rapping when he was like 13 or 14, and he was using the N-word. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't saying black niggas I killed, but when he was rapping, he was just using the N-word. And they said, oh, he talking about black people. And it's not like that because when you make music, it becomes influential. And when you keep listening to this type of music and you keep hearing nigga, you're going to start saying it. When NWA came out and they was talking that crazy stuff, man, I was like, yo, who the hell cursing like that on the record? Talking about raping bitches and that's how they was talking, raping bitches and shooting bitches. Well, excuse me, they weren't saying raping bitches, but they was like, we got, people that are, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, yo, who is he talking this craziness? Yo, they gangbanging. That's what I thought because they was from LA. Because back then when I grew up, if you heard a person was from LA, 9 out of 10, you know what I'm saying? You was from LA. They had khakis, they had their pants hanging not halfway, but a little bit, and they had the AK-47. I was like, oh, these motherfuckers is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, these motherfuckers here is crazy. I was like, yo, they really serious about this out there, you know? And it kind of found out they really wasn't like that, but it was what they were saying. And they had guys like me that was out there like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, yo, hold on. I was just like, yo, I want to be like these dudes here. I had that shit blasting in the house. My pops came in there like, turn that blood clot shit off. You know, so hold on. My pops didn't want to hear that type of talk. They was like, oh no. We not trying to hear no NWA up in here. I had to take it off. I had to only play when I was outside. I couldn't play when I was inside. So when DMX as well came out, and you know, a lot of people that was blood around that time, they took a liking to the song. It was influential. They were talking about dog. He was wearing red, and that at that time, Bloods was calling themselves dogs, and DMX had the dog. And you see what I'm saying? And people that wasn't even gangbanging started wearing red bandanas and rocking dogs and all this. I mean, dog pictures and having a dog with the pit bull, and they was emulating this. They was emulating DMX. So when you start using this type of language, you emulate it. The people that hear it, the people that buy it, they be in their room, they be rapping to it. And then next thing you know, if you Puerto Rican or you Dominican, you start hearing it, you start rapping, and you grow up in the black community, and this is all you speaking amongst your peoples, and you on the street like, nigga, like that blunt up. Once you get to the record industry, you using the same language, because now you feel like you're around your peers. See what I'm saying? You feel like you're around your peers. So you can't get mad at that, man. You can't get mad at him. That's his flow. That's his boat. That's his boat. That's what he do. That's what hip hop is all about. Saying the negative shit. I mean, that's not technically what it's about, but the enemy controls it. Who's the enemy? Satan. I'm not saying no color, because I just told you who the color man is. If I say Caucasian white man or Yaku's grafted devil, meaning you can take a person's mind and make them evil, then there ain't no color to wickedness. Ain't no color to the devil. Malcolm said it because at that point in time, we needed to hear that. But after that, they put the mirror on your face and said, could this be the devil? Just by what you're thinking. So Satan is in the music industry, and he's teaching us how to sing, rap, and dance. No, you can't. I was just looking at something. Well, real talk. I was just looking at something early on YouTube, and a guy who was doing a special on the BBLs. And I was just listening to something else, and that just came on. Because I don't really search for information on BBLs because I'm not getting no BBL. You know what I'm saying? But it was on. And I was shocked that I didn't see this. But now that I see it, do you know mostly a lot of female entertainers got BBLs? Ice Spice, Suki, Nikki, Little Kim, anybody that has a name or prominent name, these A&Rs get it from the enemy. Listen, you got to make her into a sex symbol. Look what they did to Scarlett. You see with her videos, she starts showing some butt cheeks and all that. They want to turn our women into hoes. So you got people like Sukihana, they get all these butt injections and implants, and they go up in there as a sex symbol for the enemy to make money for them. They put you on the whole stroll, and then they want you to say, nigga, bitch, shit, fuck what, you sucking this in the alley. Never mind your daughter at home. And they say, yo, we're going to give you 100,000. Matter of fact, we're going to give you 1 million in advance. And they jump and they say, yeah, I want to do that. What? So the enemy controls the hip hop. They controls the image, the enemy. And they got the sisters running around with the BBLs. And now when they in the videos and they rapping this, I won't say bullshit, excuse me. Yeah, because they took their hard-earned time to write stuff down that they felt was good. So I'm not going to say that. But they took their hard time to write what they're going to write, that the enemy's going to take their publishing and their masters, and they're already in the hole. And then they get in this video, and the enemy said, lights, camera, action. Let that hoe do her thing. And then Nikki go, ow. And then you at home like Barbie. When Barbie is white. Well, they made her black after black people started arguing. Because, sometimes black people, we want to be like white folks. You know what I'm saying? Why we can't have it too? They got it. Why don't you get your own shit? I'm sorry, I'm being too forward for you. But you talk to a man with knowledge of self. So this platform is different. And they did it to what's her name? I said Ice Spice, Sukihana. They did it to Little Kim. What's that girl named Cash Doll? Who else? Black China. And all of them had to get these injections removed from them because they've been having complications after a few years. Because it's really not natural. Some people don't have it, but some people do. You know what I'm saying? But it can kill you. DC Young Fly. His I don't know if she was married to her, but I know she had a child from him. They were still together. She went and got a BBL and died on the table. Because this is the image that the enemy is putting out in the music industry. And they telling you through, as puppets, listen, you ain't gonna blow up if you want to start talking about selling your ass and you a slut. Yeah, but I'm not like that. Yeah, we know you're not like that, but they don't know. We're going to make you into a sex symbol and everybody going to want you. Everybody going to want Suki. And you're like, all right. Yeah, we're going to put you on the ledge. And now you feel like you the shit. They done had cameras up there outside for you to take pictures. You feel like you're important, but this is encouraging you to be the stupid motherfucker they want you to be. So they do that with us guys as well. Nah, listen. We're going to give you advance money. We're going to put some fake jewelry on you. Yeah, because when I was growing up, you had to wear real jewelry. We're going to put some fake jewelry on you. We're going to put some fake diamonds on you. And you got the rap. We're going to ride on niggas. We're going to kill niggas. And I want you to put some gang signs up. Yeah, but I'm not in the gang. I don't care. Make up something. Yo, listen, you don't want to get shelved like them. That's what they do. You don't want to get shelved like them other dudes. You know what I'm saying? You see what they try to get little John and he ain't want to listen. And then we see what little John at? You know what I'm saying? So, hold on. Yeah, so with the words and the science dropping music can change the mindset of a people. When Brand Nubian came out and they dropped their album, I forgot the name, but it was a song called Once for All, Brand Nubian. And it's All for One. Then they had Slow Down. These were all like conscious songs that influenced us at that time period who had knowledge of self. And they was rapping the teachers in the music. And you had X-Clan. It was very inspirational. Nobody wanted to be no nigga then. We wanted to be powerful black men then. But they had to change the narrative. So you don't hear none of that conscious stuff no more. They couldn't wait to get rid of Pac. Pac was a problem. Tupac was speaking too much truth. Although he was in between because he had to sell records because he knew if he didn't say all this gangster stuff and all of this, it wasn't going to work. So they had to make sure he was talking this thug-like shit. And because you follow Pac when he first came out, he wasn't talking thug life. He was talking some real righteous stuff because his mother was in the Panthers. So everything she knew, she was teaching her baby because she's the first nurse and the first teacher. So he already grew up somewhat conscious. So when he spoke with passion. You were like, yo, this motherfucker deep because he got it from his mama. He got it from that era. All those circle of people that was in his family as well during the Black Panther movement. So these rappers that were speaking this conscious stuff, they had to go. They had to get rid of them. And then, lo and behold, you got Biggie come out. Boom. And now everybody want to be players and want to get money and want to get all the materialistic shit. So the money they give us, we give it right back by buying their shit that don't mean shit after you buy it. Sound like Baby Boy, right? It's all about guns and butter, baby. but but this is what they do. So, shit. Excuse me. So this is what they do. So if you don't speak that type of narrative, they're not gonna hear you. They gotta control you. So if you coming in the game, which is predominantly black, and they're already trying to separate us from Spanish people and even darker Spanish speaking people, you know what I'm saying? That would don't be the only way to survive in order to keep us separated. They did it. They did it to what does that dude? Maxwell, the singer. They even did it to Maxwell. Maxwell said what he said? I think he said he was Panamanian or something like that. He did it to him, and he said that in the beginning when he first started, he knew how they was going to try to blackball him or separate him if he would have told them he's originally a Spanish-speaking person. So he had to come out and just say he was black, and everybody fell for it, like Maxwell, the brother. And then he came out after he blew up, and he said, "Bam!" Y'all said, "Oh shit, we ain't even know that shit." He's letting you know that it's racism in the industry. Even if you try to come out and be righteous and you Spanish, they're gonna try to separate you, or you ain't going nowhere because it's a system like that. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna try to tear Fat Joe down, but it ain't gonna work. You know why? Because it's only black people doing it. It ain't white people. You know why? Because we don't have that much power. You don't control these stadiums. You don't control the music. And most black people already heard Fat Joe for years and his music saying nigga. So it's nothing, in the streets do not care about this topic. Think about it. Y'all that's logged on right now. How much time y'all had a topic about Fat Joe saying this with your peoples? You don't have this conversation. Because the people on your block that Spanish is saying the same thing. It don't bother you. It's not a topic. Because he said, yo, they some broke ass niggas. Well, compared to him and them motherfuckers is broke. Them motherfuckers is broke, man. So I gotta laugh. I just gotta laugh because it's the truth. It's the truth. You know what I mean? So y'all all right out there? Y'all all right out there? Let me know if y'all all right out there. So it just amazes me how they trying to get this value right. It just amazes me how they trying to put us together now. They talking about hip hop is canceling Fat Joe. Black people don't control hip hop. They don't. They don't even control the sound. They don't. You gonna rap what they want you to rap. They put $1 million in your face, you gonna rap what they want you to rap. You can't blackball Fat Joe. He already got money everywhere. Even if people don't buy his music, and this is the funny shit, because people really never did buy his music like that. Nobody really bought Fat Joe. I really never heard people bumping Fat Joe until Pun came out. And people started listening to Fat Joe. When he was with Digging in the Crates, they still wasn't listening to him. They was listening to everybody else in the group. They wasn't really paying him no mind. But when he went single, they still didn't pay him no mind. He got a worse end of the stick after that because nobody really wanted to hear him. But then he found Pun, his career took off. And then after Pun passed, I don't know. They say he found Pun book, or I don't know. But magically, his lyrics got tighter on the album. And he sold 1 million records. No, almost 1 million records. You know what I'm saying? So now he's not that type of artist where people really want to buy his records or hear from him. So for far as the hip hop destroying him, that's not gonna work because he never made an imprint like that. Yeah, he's a legend in it because he been consistent. He's been consistent since the 90s. So of course you're gonna know who Joe is. Besides, he was the first Puerto Rican in the Bronx that got signed to a record deal to rap. You know what I'm saying? So as a single artist anyway, that I know of. Maybe it's somebody else, I don't know. But that's the first time, somebody that was Spanish that got signed to a record label and got his deal. And they done milked hip hop so bad and killed that shit that they can't even get no money off of it now. Ain't no money in hip hop. Ain't no money in hip hop. That's why I'll be anything. Yo, we gonna ban Fat Joe. Yeah, you ain't getting your favorite artist ain't getting no money rapping. You don't believe me? What record label's popping? I'll wait. I mean, at one point in time, we could say Rockefeller, we could say Rough Riders. There ain't no label out there. What label and what rappers calling a label? Yo, I got this, and we rolling with the crew. Master P even said it himself. He said, yo, man, he said, hip hop is, he said, ain't no money there. He said, I won't even waste my time trying to break in an artist. He said, Snoop Dogg, and I heard this from Snoop. Snoop said he sold 40 billion streams. 40 billion. He said he got less than $30,000 for that shit. So imagine all these dudes that's doing all these YouTube videos and all of this stuff. How much money do you think they really getting? Here's a celebrity that's on TV. All his albums are platinum. He never flopped. Yet he's telling you, yo, I ain't making no money off of music. 40 billion and he got less than 30,000? That's some shit. But look how they do you when you get into the industry. Look how slavery starts, right? Well, now you can't even get signed or get promoted to make a record with no label or nothing until you have at least 50,000 followers on social media. And that's a fact. They will not put no energy into you. They won't even hear your music unless you got that many followers. Because it ain't no money no more. They can't just shop you no more like that. So look, this is how slavery starts. As soon as you get in, they give you a contract about this thick with a bunch of medical words. And you know the medical words would be like 13 less. You can't even read this shit, right? And they tell you, listen, they already put a guy on you, which is probably your manager that works for the label or your A&R. They say, yo, listen, man, I'm telling you, more than likely your manager. Listen, these motherfuckers ready to give you 100,000 right now. Meanwhile, you dead broke. Your cell phone is due. You ain't got no money. You living somewhere in the hood broke. I'm not going to say projects because everybody always like first thing to say is projects. Like if you're not in the projects, you ain't fucked up. You ain't got to be in the projects to be broken, homeless, or fucked up, and your family messed up, and you fighting to take care of your child or something. You want to sign. Then they sign to give you this money. Soon as you sign, you're in debt because you signed for the check. Now you get the money. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to get fly because you ain't educated about land. You ain't educated about stocks. You ain't educated about what they teach you, what they taught me in school. It's either we work for somebody or we figure out some way to start our own business if we get that sort of intelligence and knowledge, or we go work for somebody, which we went to school for. Right? Because that's why we go to school. We go to school to get an education to work for somebody. Because nobody goes to business school to start their own business. They don't have education like that in school. So you get that, you're in debt. Now they say, we're going to do your studio time. You ain't got no money for studio time. You already signed the contract. So now the label's paying for studio time. You got to pay that back. And the money they gave you in the check for the advance. Now you got to pay the manager too. And you got to pay the producer. You, not the label. The label going to cover for you, but you have to pay it back. Then you got your video. What's your budget? 500,000. God damn, boy. You ain't sent one album yet? You see what I'm saying? All these rappers are slaves, man. That's the transatlantic slave trade. They do what they former slave masters want them to do. And you got to abide by the law because you got an image or we'll destroy you. So you got to act a certain way. You see what I'm saying? So when you don't do what you don't do what they want you to do, they blackball you, meaning they put you on the shelf. They let you sit and let you figure it out, like they did Scarlett. Because Scarlett is, you heard this is New York. If you listen to Scarlett, all her shit is poetry, conscious. You know, she got some other stuff, but it's majority of songs that make you think. And then she got signed, and then she started doing these videos and these Instagram videos with funny gay looking dudes with pink hair. And I don't know what that shit was, but she has to listen or she gonna get shelved. So you gotta say certain things. You got to say nigga. Unless you're an established artist like Will Smith, LL Cool J. Like these are dudes that grew up in the game without even cursing on the record. Rakim. So they made it success. That's them. So they can't even try to change their image. But me and you, they changing our image as soon as we get up in there. Because they got to control the masses of the people. This shit is a system, baby. And hopefully that could fill up the prison system, which they own. I told you, slavery is never over. It's never over. This country can't survive without it. Can't. You know? So it just amazes me how people now talking about FBA. Like I said, it's good. It's good. You know, it's good. Hitting colors, they talk about a whole lot of stuff that I already knew about, but they're not coming at the enemy. They're not speaking about the enemy. They talking about reparations. They ain't talking about separating mentally and building a world on our own with our own finances. They're not going to tell you that. They scared to death to tell you that. Because if they tell you that, you'll be on the FBI radar immediately. Remember what I talked about? Stop the rise of the Black Messiah. That's just still in effect. Just because J. Edgar Hoover is not here doesn't mean his tactics isn't still not here. His tactics is still here. They still use. They still infiltrating gangs, right? Okay, they did that with the Panthers. They still putting people in there that cause disruption, right? Okay. Panthers is there. Look what they did to Pop. Look what they did to Pop. Look what they did to Big. They fed off of it. They ain't really care about Biggie. Biggie wasn't saying nothing that was conscious. You know what I'm saying? He was just making you get some money and get a clean shirt. He wasn't talking about nothing that was to make you think to change the world. Pop, he was talking about some shit that make you change the world. And all his songs, he was uplifting the sisters. He'll call them some bitches if they deserved it, but he was mostly uplifting the black women. That's a problem, man. You don't realize it. Oh, man. But it's a problem. So when Pac got hit and he started going to rant about East Coast, West Coast, they saw opportunity and they started publishing it all on the front page, all of the media, whatever he said. And then when Dog Pound came out here to do a video called New York, New York, it wasn't even a diss record. It wasn't a diss record, but Biggie got on Hot 97 and he said, yo, they down here shooting a video talking about New York, New York, and they supposed to be crushing buildings. So he took it like it was a diss and he shot it out for Brooklyn to stand up. And that same day, I kid you not, they shot up Death Row trailer, Snoop Dogg and Dog Pound trailer, and they thought Pac was in there as well. Immediately the next morning, they say East Coast, West Coast beef. I was like, when this shit started? East Coast, West Coast beef. When? How? That's between Big and Pac. Then all of a sudden it became a death row. It became a label thing. Now they wanted to get all the black people to fight against each other. Now they got the whole coast. Now they want all the niggas to fight each other and then go to jail, fill up the jails more. So whoever dies, especially these celebrities, guess who's going to get rich? Guess who's gonna get rich? Suge is not even Suge. Death Row wasn't even a parent company. Bad Boy is not the parent company. Universal is. So the owners that let the little men be owners, they got more money. They don't care about us. They just say we gotta find after Pac died, we gotta find us another Tupac. Yeah, I gotta like this guy DMX. Yeah, he's close. And the Jewish man, Lyle Coleman, went to the hood to go meet DMX because they needed the next big thing to make them rich. I know I'm talking about music, and I was talking about, I know y'all probably feel like, yo, you going swells. No, I'm not, because I'm talking about the people that control this shit and push the narrative. They push the narrative in the music. They push the narrative on these talk shows on Hot 97, and they tell them, yo, y'all need to talk about this. Is a good topic and talk about that. Yo, we need to flame Fat Joe. They don't want no, you gotta say certain things. You can't say certain things, or you're gonna lose your job. They do that. They did that to Wendy. They didn't want Wendy talking about certain things, and she was up there talking about the shit with Puff that y'all hearing about now. She been talking about all those sex parties and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they moved her. Then first they fired her on Power 105. Then they moved her to New Jersey, I believe. No, WBLS. She was on WBLS. Then she went to Jersey, Power 105. I believe that's what it was. I can't remember. It was so many years ago. It was like 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to remember. You know what I mean? But this is what they do. They control the language. They control the narrative. They want you to keep saying nigga. That's why they still keep it in the movies. We probably make the movies, but guess who control it? Guess who control Tubi? Guess who control it? Go ahead, check it out. Go do research. It's a Jewish white man. What the fuck is he doing with all these black movies? And you see the image of us in those movies? It's crazy. Every movie is a sister that's cheating, or a sister want to be a hoe, or a sister trying to get over on her man or killing her man, and the guys vice versa. Vice versa. It's like it's no real solid relationship on that channel. I normally watch it. I watch mostly old movies on Tubi, but the new ones I watch every now and then because the covers will fool you. And I watch it and I'm like, God damn, here we go with the same damn image. So this is what is presented to us for us to act this way. This is why Fat Joe talks the way he talks. This is why Fat Joe acts the way he acts, because of the image and the way he was raised around. If he was raised in Puerto Rico and he had the Puerto Rican culture, he'd probably be out here doing reggaeton, but he ain't doing reggaeton. He doing hip hop, where we say niggas and bitches and we keep it real. And he been saying that from the beginning of his career. So stop acting like this shit is new. This shit is not new. I don't think he even should apologize. For what? Now, if he would said it from the door and we came at him, then I'd be like, damn, Joe, people feel away now. But it's not what he said. It's who he said it to. He said it to the FBA, which deals with more like a political background when it comes to black people in its history. You see what I'm saying? It's like coming at a civil rights organization. Can you imagine? You can imagine a Puerto Rican dude get on a mic and hear Martin Luther King talking like, yo, y'all niggas need to sit down. Nigga, you said that to Martin? You'd be better off saying that to Little Kim. But Martin? Nah, you can't say that. Certain language you can't use. Kamala Harris taught us that best when she was running, right? You remember all the fake ass videos? She was acting like she was she acted like she was pro-black. And she is a sister. Look, that's another perfect example. Look how they try to confuse us with her. Oh, where's she now? She tried to say she black, but she said she was Indian. No, I get it. She has some Indian descent in her, But she is an original woman. She is a black woman. But she's in politics where they have set up a system where she can't say, I'm black. Barack couldn't even say that because they set up a system where a pure black American man or woman cannot get up there and run for the presidency because they feel you're going to be a direct hand giver to black people. So Camilla, they had her by the headlock. She couldn't even say she was a black. Go check it out. She would let y'all tell her what she is. So when you do the interview, she'll say, yeah, because you're an African American, just say what they call her? A black Indian American, and she'll go, yes. Or they'll say, well, Indian American. She'll go, like, okay. She won't say, yes, that's what I'm. She let you tell her. Because if she says she claiming black, then the Indian people gonna be mad at her. If she says she Indian, then the black people say, you be fronting. So she go, So see what I'm saying? She can't, they control the language. So now that Fat Joe said this, everybody run around crazy. Everybody run around crazy. Right? You should be more FBA should be focused about the brother that just got killed in Marcy Correctional Facility. Be about that. But that's not their lane. Their lane is just getting the heritage together and making us know. They ain't trying to be on no front line. They'll make some videos and get some money from the proceeds, educating you on our history, but that's where it stops. I said that's where it stops. They ain't doing no Black Panther stuff. They ain't doing no Nation of Islam stuff. They ain't doing no United States stuff. They're not doing none of that revolutionary stuff. They're not out there speaking against the powers that be for you. Or maybe you feel like they are because they're talking about our history. But that, to me, I don't think that's, no, it's important, but it's not really much of a threat because white folks do that on TV. And they put what they did to us on TV in front of our face and say, I dare you to do something. And we see it and we go, yo, that's a slavery movie. Yo, we're going to save it. And then that's where it go. We put it back in the shelf. Then we go out there and kill some more black people. See what I'm saying? And don't worry about Joe. Let's worry about ourselves first. And then we could talk about Joe. You know what I'm saying? That's like you in a gang and your whole gang is sex tripping, but you trying to school another gang about sex tripping. Oh, man. Make it make sense. That's what the young people say, right? Make it make sense. So it's very interesting. It's definitely very interesting. But this is the truth. And the truth shall set you free mentally. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm about to go. I normally be up here like 3 hours, but nah, not now. Not now. Definitely gonna be here again. I think probably tomorrow. Think I'm gonna be up here tomorrow. But you won't know. You're gonna get the notification. You know what I'm saying? Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, please. Okay. So with that being said, anybody out there? Because I don't know who's out there because it's not showing really. Not really showing. Okay, I see one like. What? I got one like? That's crazy because see, YouTube is so funny, right? People out there. Because when you talk about some negative stuff, that's just pure negative, it's not conscious or cultural to elevate somebody, you won't get that many views. Charleston White said this shit too. He said, you don't get many views when you talk positive. He said, but when you talk this crazy, how you talk, right? He be like, when you talk, you talk that crazy stuff and that ignorant stuff and that uncivilized stuff, you get a lot of goddamn views. You get a lot of damn, because that's what America likes. They like controversy. You know what I'm saying? That's why this thing with Fat Joe is all over YouTube. It's controversy. But the dude that got killed in Marcy, you barely hear anything about that. So we don't want the niggas to go crazy. You see what happened with George Floyd. And now Daniel Penny did this. And now we got to keep this quiet. But shout out to Latita James, the prosecutor, the head a district attorney. You know what I'm saying? She leaked the video. And if it was a white man that was in office or a white woman that was in office, they wouldn't have done that. because I've been in prison to the point where they done killed so many people. It never hits the media like that. This is the first time I ever seen a hit like this. They took the actual body cam. Let me tell you something. The body cams never leave the facility. They'll send it to Albany that controls the facility, and they'll keep it and they'll doctor it up and they'll give you bits and pieces, or they'll tell you what happened. And then you take it from there. She leaked it, which means I know she's not gonna be in office the next time she wants, because them white boys gonna get her the fuck up out of there, because they feel like they can't kill niggas in peace. You seen that video? No, you had to see that. Yo, I try to put it up, but for some reason, man, I don't know, man. For some reason, it won't. Let me see if I can get it up here. I'm gonna try this one more time. God damn it! You gonna try this one more time? You know, because that what they did to him was just so it was just so crazy what they did. I couldn't really believe it, to be honest. All right. Okay, let's see how this go. Okay. Oh man. What the hell is going on? It looked like I got some security alert right here. But yeah, I'm trying to really get it up for y'all, because this assault that they did, man, was just oh, see that somebody try to hack me, y'all. Someone try to change how you sign in. You see this shit? You can't make this up. Yo, you can't make this up, man. I'm gonna try to do something different. I'm gonna try to work on this laptop. I'm definitely going to be getting another one, because this laptop is pretty much a little bit outdated. But I'm really for a minute it was actually showing what I wanted y'all to see. And I wanted y'all to see how they beat this brother up, man. Like they actually beat this 13 officers. 13 officers beat this man to death, to the point that even their supervisor, which is the sergeant, was on the scene. And one of the officers said, "Move out the way." He told his superior officer, he gave his superior officer a direct order. And then start punching the brother in his face. Killed that man. Killed that man. Where's Black Lives Matter? You? Anybody seen Black Lives Matter? Nah, they ain't over there. Y'all seen the NAACP? Nah. Yo, y'all seen Al? Nah. But y'all worried about Fat Joe. Where the fucking FBA at? You got so much to say. Where all you dudes that got so much to say about that? That's what you should be putting on viral. That's what we should be talking about. So, with that being said, y'all got anything out there y'all want to ask or say? Because I'm about to shut this down. I got some other things I got going on later tonight, so just want to get ready, well prepared for it. I don't want to be on this too long. Boy, you ain't got nothing to say? All right, well, that's my class. I gave y'all a round of applause for that one. So, with that being said, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shut down. Wish y'all happy New Year's. You know what I'm saying? Definitely gonna be here tomorrow. Now I gotta bring in the New Year with something. So, y'all enjoy your night. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know what I'm saying? Watch the enemy. Watch the corrupted cops out there. They trying to kill you, trying to kill me, they trying to kill us. And just don't give them an excuse. You know what I mean? Don't give them an excuse whatsoever. And y'all know sometimes you don't even need an excuse. They'll make up one. So, like I said, with that being said, bless y'all. Y'all have a good night.